Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Racers Driving League for Season 20, Round 14 of the Championship, and welcome to the Lions Den, and welcome to the Circuit Zandvoort for the Dutch Grand Prix, and what should be a very exciting encounter as we get further into the second half of the season. With 11 rounds to go, including this one, I'm your host, Zach RC, here to bring you through all of tonight's action, and for the time being, Ben will be joining us later on in the evening, but in the meantime, we have got someone visiting the commentary box, someone who hasn't been here in a little while, but I'm always happy to see back in. Welcome back, Season 11 champion, Tickleby Pope, into the commentary box to give us a lap around Zandvoort in a matter of moments. So Pope, welcome back into the commentary box, and it should be a fun race tonight.
Yeah, I mean, obviously this track is ridiculously chaotic, I think is the only way to describe it. It's a fantastic track, very high speed, but also very technical as well and very limited on tyres. So will be an interesting race. It's a pleasure to be back in the commentary box. It's my second home after the cockpit. So yeah, always good to be back.
And we have got some action now on the track already as DJ becomes the first car out onto the circuit. She's going through down towards turn 11 for the first time on its out lap. And yeah, it should be an interesting one. Obviously, Zandvoort has always been notorious for sort of more chaotic races in recent seasons. There's always been collisions, there's been red flags here in the past. It's one of those circuits that really promises a great race, at least from a commentary standpoint. I know for you guys as drivers, it's perhaps a bit more chaotic than you might like, but aside from that, I mean, it should be a fantastic race as DJ slams the outside wall there through turn 14, that long banked right-hander to get started on his first flying lap. And I can see a few more drivers out on the circuit. Hope you are out on track. I see you there. So in a matter of moments, be able to get you in for the run around Zandvoort, which sort of breaks down the lap. And obviously, you've got a reserve teammate tonight making his debut. Welcome Ethan quickly to the Racers Driving League, making his first start as one of our reserves. It should be exciting to see how he gets on because there's been a lot of talk about him in terms of pace coming into this one. So it'd be interesting to see perhaps a new challenge up there, Pope. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I'd rather limit the challenges. It's not been a great season for me so far, but no, in all seriousness, it's always nice to have a competitive grid at all ends. So bringing someone else who can contend for those race wins, I feel like, even though it has been a bit of a gloomier runaway, everything down P2 onwards is very competitive at the best of times. So yeah, always good to see another driver.
Okay, we are getting our way through to turn 13 now. So Pope, without further ado, if you'd be so kind to do as you used to do, make it like the old times and take us on a lap around Zandvoort.
Of course. So blitzing with the DRS on, making sure that you get a nice run going into turn 1. Third gear through here, pick up the throttle rather early. Obviously focusing on the exit as the priority. This right-hander here is just wickedly quick. And then swinging it into a nice banked left-hander. The corners do bank quite dramatically around this circuit. So really good to carry a lot of momentum through here. As much ERS as possible, it's quite easy to recover around this track and flat out through the right-hander here. Big incident between Landlord and Imrie last season, if memory serves me correctly. Going to the more technical part of this track now. Bit of an ERS boost going through the right-hander. I'm not too sure on the corner names and the corner numbers, sorry, because it just comes at you so quickly. But in second DRS zone, good overtaking opportunity down into this corner here. Missed the apex there on my lap, but hopefully we'll iron that out for Q3. Bit more ERS, you can use just so much around this track. Brake and throttle on at the same time to complete with stability. Burn all the ERS down. Not a bad lap if I do say so myself. A 109 flat.
And the fastest lap so far. Pope, not bad at all. And obviously, given that you put the fastest time in while talking about the lap as you go, it's quite a feat, if I do say so myself. But
Thank you.
That'll do us for the time being, Pope. Thank you so much for joining us for a brief few minutes here in the commentary box. And hopefully, we'll see you back in here later with a few positive words to say about the Grand Prix.
I hope so. Thank you very much.
So that will do it then for our coverage with Pope for the time being. We'll be back to just me for the moment as Ethan quickly goes faster than that. 1 minute 8.835. That is a big jump, if I do say so myself, and perhaps the earliest statement in terms of pace and intent going into tonight's session. I see Lucky Lambert's also joined the session as well. So we'll get a full 20 cars on tonight's grid. Also missing Imrie in tonight's race. Huff is being called into his place. So Imrie obviously coming off the back of the last 3 Grand Prix, 6th, 4th and 13th. Failed to score thanks to that penalty in Hungary last time out. And obviously, I mean, Che crossed the line first and won that race, but a penalty for an aggressive move made on Grumio at pit exit midway through the Grand Prix meant that Dan instead scooped up the win, and TJ came home with his first podium of the campaign, with Grumio for the first time finishing off the podium this season in 4th. So big changes there, and perhaps a sign that Grumio might be starting to get pegged back a little bit over the course of the second half of the season. Dan is now fastest himself, 1 minute 8.818 on the board. A lot of 8s in there for the Mercedes driver, who came through in the end with last week's race win, and was placed on the podium in all 3 of his last 3 Grand Prix, and all 3 in different places. Second at Silverstone, 3rd in Spa, and 1st last time out in Budapest. So a lot to be dissected going into this Grand Prix, but hopefully it should be quite an exciting one, as one of the Saubers is there stopped between turns 8 and 9. That was HB Cook, the lone full-time driver in the Sauber for tonight's race, as he'll fight to be the only source of points. In terms of the Constructors and the Drivers' Championship, as it stands right now, it's a 100-point lead in both senses. It's Grumio out front over Dan by 100, and Haas over Williams by 100. Of course, we spoke to Pope a few minutes ago, and Che, his teammate, not here for tonight's race. You see Curtis go 4th fastest there, 1 minute 9.465 on the board for the driver who came home 5th in last week's race. So big score for Red Bull last time out, and they now sit only 18 points back from Sauber in 4th place. And this is a team that earlier in the season were in lockdown scrap with the V-Carb, with the team duo of JB and 10th Cannon, who have sort of hit a wall in recent weeks. 10th has slipped down the championship to 8th place after she's only managed to score, I believe that's 7 points in the last 2 races. And TJ's in big gains, as has AT. AT 5th, 7th and 6th, and TJ 7th, 8th, and of course that 3rd place finish last week. So big swings in the championship, I think, will be the key to watch out for tonight. But saying that, those 3 only separated by 1 point. AT on 76 and both TJ and 10th on 75. So those positions could again change come the end of tonight's race. It should be quite an exciting one to keep an eye out for as we do get towards the business end of the campaign, and we'll start seeing drivers perhaps being a bit more aggressive, pushing for those points-paying places as we near season's end. Dan retiring from the session, I think he's good there in P1. As AT comes towards the line here, it's up to P5 for him. His teammate Grumio in behind. Grumio takes the flag, 1 minute 8.714, so still a 10th in front of Dan to kick things off. And I wonder perhaps, if Che hadn't taken pole in last week's race, becoming only the 3rd pole sitter of season 20 so far, then I'd be thinking that it would be a lot less open to the idea of someone other than Grumio taking pole in this case, as Imri has been, of course, Grumio's lone challenger in that sense, that he is absent for this race tonight. So currently, I would have said Grumio straight on favourite for pole, but you never really know. There's a number of cars around that could do some serious damage in terms of threat to that position for Grumio on the very short run towards turn 1 here at Zandvoort. So it's going to be great fun to see exactly who stands where, who gains what in the first couple of laps of this Grand Prix. Of course, going back to the half distance races, as we had our 100% race last week in Hungary. Our next one will be coming at the Singapore Grand Prix, which will be a very, very exciting race to commentate on. Singapore, again, one of those fantastic races that serves so much excitement for us in the season. Pope retires. That's two of our 20 drivers out on the pit lane, having called it quits. The bottom 5 yet said lap times. Ethan currently in 16th, and it's Lucky Lambert who has joined us already out on circuit. Courtney Goblin also out on track, which is a rare sight to see him out before session's end. Alvar P19 and 10th Cannon dead last, and Courtney goes to P14. That's actually in front of Obsessed Gamer and in front of Websy too in the Aston Martin. But Websy is currently on a lap here. He's going towards the last couple of corners, and his first lap was 1 minute 19.8. So I'm guessing we're seeing some vast improvements of that as he rounds the final corners complete. Will be his second lap of the session. Up towards the line, it's going to be a 1 minute 9.197, which puts him into the 6th position. So plenty of gains on the table for their Aston Martin. They now run P6 and P11 as they try and strive to get both cars into Q3. Websy now sitting in 10th place in the Drivers' Championship, tied with HB Cook for that position, both on 24 points, and Ethan just 4 points back in P12. It's another 2 points to Alvar, a 2 from there to PJ, and another 2 to DJ. So that sort of run from P10 down to P15 is quite close, but it's another 5 back to JB from DJ in P16. So it's still awfully close in the bottom half, and a swing of one big result could all of a sudden mean that the race for P10 flips on its head completely. which is always exciting when you're going into the second part of the campaign. Of course, Aston Martin only leading Alpine by 2. That battle rages on in the Constructors' Championship for P7. Obviously, this big jump to VCarb and P6, who looks safe where they are for the time being, unless we see one of those two teams start to make big gains. McLaren in front of Ferrari by 12 at the bottom of the table. And, of course, the big chase up front will be the... will there be a fight for third place on? That's the question. I mean, Dan has scored, obviously, the majority of points for the team this season at Mercedes. Obsessed Gamer still just the 1 point score this season, but hopefully we'll see if he can break through and get himself back on the board in today's race. It's been a bit of a rough return season so far for Obsessed. Hasn't really had the pace on a number of circuits. I mean, on circuits, yes, we sort of had luck in the way. Obviously retired very early on in the race in Belgium, if memory serves. Only just 2 weeks ago. Or rather, sorry, no, I don't believe he actually competed in that race. He did compete. I'm losing my train of thought for a second there. And obviously last week, the things didn't really go to plan either in Hungary. So it's been a struggle from so far. But we're hoping that we can see him get some points on the board tonight. As there's Temp Cannon currently on her first lap, going through turn 3. That nice little banked left-hander. Of course, it won't be too long before we have to wave goodbye to Zandvoort on the F1 calendar. I believe, if memory serves, 2026 will be the last race. It'll be a sprint event over the course of this season. Of course, this being the first official race week of the 2026 FIA Formula 1 World Championship. So, a lot to look forward to in Australia in just a couple of days' time, as we get to see our first glimpse of the new cars in racing form. Only be about another 11 Grand Prix, and we'll be waving goodbye to this set of regulations in the RDL. Obviously, waving hello to the new cars, or at least some sort of iteration of the new cars with the DLC, and of course the arrivals of both Audi and Cadillac to the F1 grid as constructors, obviously, and Red Bull switched to Ford power. It's gonna be very interesting to see over the course of next season in terms of how much changes of those new cars and how much we're gonna have to manage and how much driving styles are gonna have to change as Temp goes 16th fastest today on a set of hard tires, let's not forget. So I dare say, and she's got 5 minutes. I dare say she's got time to put on a set of soft tires and just try and blitz a lap and get herself into Q2 that way. But a solid banker to say the least. But as it stands, she's still going out as it stands at the minute right now. So changes need to be made in terms of tyre choice. There's Ethan heading through turns 2 and 3. Of course, as I say, Alpine just sitting just 2 points behind Aston Martin in the constructors. Ethan has scored more points than PJ this season in terms of that teammate fight. I said the majority. There's only 4 points separating the two drivers in the minute. They're both being sort of relatively evenly matched over the course of the season. So it'll be interesting to see if either one of them can get in the points in tonight's race. PJ currently running in 14th position on the speed charts, or on the time charts rather. It's just Ethan and Alvar. Let's set lap times. Alvar starts his flying lap as he goes into turn 1. Bit of a wider line there. Took a sort of a middle route there through turn 1 as he gets himself steady up for turns 2 and 3. As DJ retires, so DJ P11 as it stands right now. Through turn 3, but backing off a little. Looks backed off. Not a fantastically quick exit. I mean, he's not using battery either, so I'm guessing he's going to try and re-rack and go again. I should think. As Grumio retires, Grumio is still fastest right now. The top 4 are all also called it quits. As Ethan goes P10 over the line there. So only Alvar yet set a time. But of course, we've seen Alvar shoot up the timing sheets in this sort of scenario before. And obviously, we're not too far removed from the race in Spain race, which we scored a strong amount of points for himself and for McLaren in the Constructors' Championship. So that's a big day for them, and obviously keeps them in P9. Ferrari will be looking for a day like that in tonight's race from either Lucky or Courtney Goblin. I'd say Lucky probably the driver more like contender of the two. Courtney Goblin there about a second off his teammate in terms of those first runs, as Lucky is back on the circuit now. So it's looking like you're going to need sort of like a 1:09 minimum to get yourself into Q2 from here. It's all very, very tight. 1:09s from P4 down to P15. So that whole part of the pack covered by about a second or so. And the top 13 will come up with a 1 second gap from Grumio to HB Cook in that 13th spot. Half the reserve for Sauber. Can't score any points in tonight's race, as always, as he is a reserve driver. But pride on the line there. And I think he'll be looking to try and get himself a full-time seat next season if he can. If such a space opens up for him to take advantage of that. And it's all very tight. And we have actually got Ben joining us here All right, he's Jonathan just in time in the Q1. Ben, welcome in. Hello, mate.
Hello, how are you?
Good to have you in here. We had a Pope serving as a substitute for you earlier, but you are here now, and that's fantastic. I'm guessing you're already in the session, yes?
Would you, in fact, I'll be able to join off. He's all good. He's all good.
Okay, so we'll leave you to get into the session. We've got 2 minutes to go, just sort of catch you up in terms of what's been going on in the early part of qualifying here. And currently it's Lucky, 10th, Obsessed, Cottony, and Alvar in the bottom 5. I say that, but Alvar's just shot to P15 to move PJ down to P16. And it's Lucky, 10th, Obsessed, and Cottony. That is your bottom 5 right now. But Alvar's just retired in the session, so he's got no chance of reply should someone get in above him immediately. I have to wait and see as to whether that happens or not. As we see Cottony come towards the line to start what will be likely to be his final lap of the session. But yeah, it should be an interesting race. And Ethan Quigley, the new reserve driver in Williams, 3rd place at the minute, right? So big shake-up up there, as he may set a challenge to Dan, Grumio, and Pope, who currently sit at the rest of your top 4. There's a minute and a half to go, so I dare say we might be able to get you in for these last sort of last few laps of Q1.
Yeah, I'm just looking on Lucky Lambert. Has Lucky Lambert had a bit of a chat with the wall?
It may appear so from what I'm seeing here. I could get a better camera angle. Oh, yep, yes, there we go. Yes, he has. And I dare say
he's definitely had a chat with the wall.
it's not the sort of discussion that you like to have. It's like a nervous call to the headmaster's office, if I do say so myself. But it's not the sort of thing. The point is, it's not the sort of thing that would be on the receiving end of, and he goes put himself in the outside wall. And if the headmaster's office was the front wing lost, then that is detention without a shadow of a doubt there. So Lucky's out of qualifying, as is Obsessed, pulls the car into the pit lane. PJ slams the car into the inside wall on pit entry. Everything stays intact on the car, but he is also out. 10th Cannon towards the line, 10th into P10, and Alvar now is also out. So I'm thinking we may have our bottom 5 already here. To check a flag gets set to fall in a matter of moments. JB also retiring. I think we're all set now in terms of our bottom 5 to end this session, which sort of brings quite an anticlimactic end to this first part of qualifying. And you'll be seeing Alvar, Obsessed, PJ, Lucky, and Cottony later on in tonight's Grand Prix, but not for the time being because they are eliminated.
DDR. Sorry, I don't know what I've missed really. I missed much other than Lucky's little argument with the wall.
I mean, to be fair, it's the first time I noticed that Lucky had any altercation with any sort of wall, but yeah, I mean, it's just been sort of run-of-the-mill so far. I have to wait and see. Obviously, things will heat up a bit more when we get to Q2. You and I both know that in terms of how these guys perform, how things turn up as you get into the latter parts of qualifying. 10th there and P10, just waiting on her and HB Cook to come to the line, and that will complete Q1. Both cars going through, P10 and P11, as 10th rounds the final corner through turn 14 towards the line. Obviously no improvements, but not looking for any. And a P10 to go through. And lastly, it's just that Sauber to go into the last sector and to complete his lap, and then we'll be all set for qualifying too.
Indeed. Hopefully it should be a bit more exciting than the first part of qualifying.
How would you know? You weren't here.
We're doing it off the base 3 minutes.
Yep, fair enough. Okay, well, HB now over the line, so that'll cap off Q1 officially. Obviously, we lost our bottom 5 with about a minute or so to spare, so that sort of took away any sort of late climax to this session. But Grumio fastest by a 10th over Dan. Ethan Quigley there in 3rd place, so big start for the Williams reserve. Pope in 4th, Huff in P5, and it's Curtis, Websy, AT, TJ, and 10th Cannon your top 10. HB Cook P11, Ethan, JB, DJ, and Ericsson all going through. Only about a second or so covering the top 15, and we lose Alvar, Obsessed, PJ, Lucky, and Cottony at the end of a standard Q1 session, and Q2 is coming right up. So time then for Q2 to get underway. We've whittled our 20 drivers down to our top 15 from the first qualifying session, and they'll now do battle in terms of lap times and to fight for a place in the pole position shootout, that being Q3 in about 15 minutes time. If you're just joining us, welcome in. Zach RC here, as always, along with Ben in the commentary box. Looking forward to bringing you another exciting Grand Prix, and 11 rounds to go. And obviously, you have to start looking towards the championship standings. Ben, we're getting towards the business end of the campaign, as I'm sure you've tacked on at some point. Yeah, I mean, it should be an exciting one. Grumio obviously still 100 points out front. Obviously, feels more like a matter of when and not if he'll win the championship. But I mean, you never know. He's been pegged back a bit in recent weeks. He's got the job done in terms of winning races, but I feel like he hasn't been as dominant as he has been, or at least as he was in the first half of the season. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I'd agree 100% with that. Outside of a doubt, Grumio always human, does make errors. He made an error at Miami, 10-second time penalty. I think he cost him like I want to say P2 there. He made a few errors here and there, chat limits as well. So who knows?
Obviously, it was the penalty last week that cost him 2 in the late restart in Hungary. The end of that very long, very grueling Grand Prix around the Hungaroring, which led to him his first finish off the podium this season, P4 in the end, come the checkered flag. So, you know, tough day at the office by his standards, but we'll see if he can pick things up and get himself back into winning ways in tonight's race. Obviously, we are missing one big contender in qualifying, and that being Imri, who is absent for this week's race, Huff in his place for Kick Sauber. And I mean, until last week when we saw Che take pole, I would have said outright, I mean, Grumio is the favourite for pole position this week, but the fact he was beaten last week definitely opens things up, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, obviously Dan weren't too far behind, only about 10th or so. Che can always get himself up in the mix. Is Che actually here?
Che is not. Ethan Quigley is in his place for tonight.
Yes. Sorry about that. So Che is not here, and so really it's just down to well, Dan really. See if he can do anything. Pope can also challenge so as well. So who knows?
It'll certainly be interesting in terms of who will take pole for tonight's race and who will emerge from this race unscathed. I think is another big question because I mean, as you know from being a driver, this track almost always serves up some sort of chaos.
It does indeed, yeah.
Ethan quickly towards the line for his first lap. 1 minute 8.858. Big gains there and a big start. Pope in second place to kick this off. It's then Curtis in third. Here comes one of the Saubers towards the line. That will be HB Cook. Followed by Dan, who goes fastest. 1 minute 8.781. So this reserve driver will be fast. And I say he's not quite there in terms of beating our regulars just yet. Or at least not all of them, as we're still waiting on Grumio to come through for his first flying lap. His teammate AT is going through turn 12 as we speak. Obviously, Haas currently sitting 100 points clear of Williams in the Constructors. And then I dare say they may gain some more points, given that only Pope can score points for that team tonight. It'll be interesting to see whether or not Haas can take advantage and make up some more ground in the Constructors in terms of trying to pull away.
Yeah, well, Haas obviously 18, Grumio is rapid all season long, winning races. He's certainly been off the podium once, as you mentioned. But even still, 4th place is still a good result for him. It's all about who can really nail the consistency. If we can consistently get even a double podium, that would help out massively.
I mean, AT yet to see the podium this season in terms of these races, so it'd be interesting to see if we can get him up on one towards the end of the campaign. If memory serves, he always seems to sort of pick up in the second half of the season, quite similar to that of Alvar, who we lost in Q1. But Grumio through turn number 10 here and down towards 11. And we'll see what sort of time he picks up. Obviously, we'll see a lot of drivers on their somewhat worn soft tyres from Q1 before making the change over to their fresh sets. So that'll be interesting to see if there's any sort of change in pace from anyone in the order right now. Ericsson and DJ currently the slowest 2 times so far. Grumio, Huff, and JB in the bottom 5, but Grumio about to change that up towards the line. Grumio slower than Dan, but only by 7 thousandths, so it's awfully close here in these first laps here in Q2.
That is close indeed. While we were doing that, I wonder if Ethan, DJ's had a bit of a incident at turn. Is it turn 9, the fast right under?
Yes, they turn 8, I believe. Or
Yeah, it may have been turn 8. It may have gone stuck on a curve and hit a wall because he's actually broke part of his front wing.
the left end plate missing on that Aston Martin for DJ, as I send him back to the garage. It's been about a season or so now since DJ has joined the Racers Driving League. Obviously, it's been fantastic to have him thus far. 14 points on the board from this season. Only 10 back from P10 in the Drivers' Championship. I mean, I mentioned it before you got here, Ben, but I mean, at the minute, well, if we look from P10 down to P15 in the Drivers' Championship, there's only 10 points covering them. Websy and HB Cook tied for that position. Ethan just 2 back. Another 2 to Alvar, another 2 to PJ, and another 2 from there to DJ. So a number of drivers are all quite close together in terms of points positions as it stands right now. So one big score from any of them could sort of could swing the narrative completely in their favour. And JB there, as he makes his way around turn 10, 5 points back from DJ, and that puts him 15 points off Websy in 10th. So a podium finish for JB would likely, or if not close the gap all the way, then it would at least close it halfway, I'd have to say.
Yeah, I'd agree with that, Zach. But it just shows how competitive the midfield really is in RDL.
I mean, the whole grid's competitive when you look at it in a lot of perspective, as JB comes to the last corner to start his first lap of Q2. VCarb obviously still sitting in 6th place in the Constructors. But obviously Red Bull have pulled a big advantage in the last couple of weeks in particular. Obviously TJ nabbed the podium in last week's race, so we'll see if he can try and go back to back. But that could be difficult with Dan, Grumio, Pope, Ethan Quigley, kept Curtis up in the order. Well, they're saying that, I mean, podium points is the main thing, as opposed to actually placing on the podium. As obviously reserve drivers do not lose their status in terms of a points finish, and their points then relegates down by 1 for every reserve into the top 10. So we'll see if there has to be any changes made in that sense. We'll see if P11 does score points in this race, or scores the last point on offer. 7.5 minutes to go, and still looking at second laps and potentially third ones later on in this session. Dan fastest, but over Grumio. Both cars are retired from the session and look good for Q3 as of right now, as JB rounds turn 12. Ethan Quigley in 3rd place for Williams. Pope, his teammate for tonight, in 4th. Curtis P5, HB Cook 6th. Websy, Ethan, AT, and TJ round out your top 10, but 10th Cannon right behind in P11. JB towards the line and looking to complete this lap in 1 minute 9.8. Only enough for P13, so not a great lap there from JB, but saying that, we'll cut JB a bit of slack, as it is. I was made aware he is currently fighting an injury. He's pulled something in his shoulder, so currently soldiering on, like the brave chap we all know that he is. But hopefully he'll be able to get through the race without any struggles.
Yeah, obviously injuries are never nice to carry, even when you are racing, even in controller. But obviously JB is on wheel, so it's gonna hurt him even more. Do you know which shoulder it's like?
I don't know. No.
I was just trying to figure out if it's gonna cost him a bit more in right-hand corners than left, or vice versa.
My concern is that it may cost him in terms of corners that require a bit more rotation, if I do say so. If I had to make a judgment, my place to keep an eye out for, and I told you this myself before we went on the air, I'd be looking at the sort of complexes of turns 2 and 3, and then down here at turns 11 and 12, because those corners sort of require near immediate rotation from one side to the other, and obviously turns 2 and 3 are quite fast. So
yeah, that would hurt quite a lot, as Huff goes fastest. By much, but it goes fastest by half a tenth, so good luck from Huff up.
It's awfully close, and there goes Curtis. I think we are looking at a sort of fresh tyre runs now. Only 7,000 separating Curtis from Dan, and equally 7,000 separating Dan from Grumio, so it's awfully close here. Qualifying around this circuit is always fantastic, and hopefully it will continue that way into Q3, because it's looking ridiculous right now. Ethan crossed the line, goes P8, and TJ jumps to DJ improvement in 7th place.
Massive improvement. Do we seem to like the W007 roundy?
Pardon, sorry?
Do we seem to like the W007 roundy with 7,000?
Yeah, apparently so. that is the sort of thing we're looking at. In fact, I was supposed to look. Oh, that's me saying that. Unfortunately, we can't see the gaps in that sense. We only get an interval on the time screen. We just get the gap to the leader, which kind of sucks, because that means I missed my chance there when Dan was fastest. But there we are. You know, hindsight is 20/20. But yeah, just under 5 minutes to go. We'll continue on with the action. And currently, the two V carbs down there, P14, P15, both those cars, Ben, are going to need to get back out on track sooner rather than later and give themselves a better chance to get into Q3 because it's not looking good for them right now. Currently, about 4 tenths off of Ethan 10th
That could
place.
spice things up. That could definitely spice things up. DJ's just retired in 9th. That is a risky one, that.
That is definitely a danger zone without a doubt. And Ericsson P13 retiring, so he's out. Ethan going back to the pit lane. He's currently the last car going through. Webbsy's out on circuit, and both 10th and JB are both in the pit lane right now. But I dare say we'll see them back on the circuit again before the checkered flag drops in, like I say, 4 minutes time. And it's going to be big. I'll ask you this again. Going back to sort of what's happening to Guns JB today. Bennett, tell me this: Have you ever been injured before during a sim race? Has that happened to you before?
Fortunately not. No, not up until this point. But I can imagine the pain that JB's going through, and obviously wish him all best in his recovery.
Without a doubt. I mean, we'll see if he can find a few tenths on this lap as he goes into turn number 7, and obviously it's quite a long sweeping right-hander there. That turn 7 down the hill, end of the first sector, and into the second. Webbsy's still out on circuit. He's got obviously running a lap this time. He's up by half a second in sector 1. So big gains being found there as Curtis retires from P2. I should think he's safe in Q3. I'd say any day where you beat Dan and Grumio at their best in terms of qualifying effort, you should be good to go through to the next session. As Webbsy finds more time, he's found about 10th or so as he goes through turn 12. Just 2 more corners to go on this lap. He's running hot lap mode. Happens to overtake and we'll have to set things up to go full charge for the last corner here through turn 14 now, and charging towards the line as he used all the battery he's got left up towards the line to complete that lap. It's gonna be a 1 minute 1 minute 8.992. So big gains there for Webbsy. Found about 6 tenths, puts him into 7th place, and that moves Ethan into the bottom 5. DJ still in P10, so he's currently banking on that bottom 5. No one improving beyond him. Ethan only needs to get about a 10th or so to get himself into Q3 from here. Cannon's back out on track, as is JB. JB obviously going up towards the end of the first sector now. He's going through turns 5 and 6. And he has found 33 thousandths, so about a third of a tenth in this first sector. As Pope retires. Pope retires from P6, AT from P8. So a few drivers cutting mightily close here, Ben, towards the end of this session. Only got 2 minutes to go. And we may still yet see Ethan, HB Cook back on track, and we'll definitely see 10th through for a lap. Ethan, no sign of any movement from the garage for Alpine for now.
Yeah, I'm just thinking, that's a bit into gravel there for JB, and that's his lap over before it even got round to the final penultimate corner. But that's probably going to cost JB a chance to get into Q3, I won't lie. He's not really got the ERS. He has got time, albeit not by much.
Got time to put
pits
into the
and
pit lane, and that'll do them for JB. So eliminated in Q2. Second car to go down, as we know, in the bottom 5. 10th is up by almost 2 tenths here. She rounds turn 7, and she needs about 4 at the minute to get herself into about. She needs about, we'll call it half a second to get into Q3 from here. We'll have to see how she handles the rest of the second sector and just the second half of the lap as a whole. Down towards turn 11, we'll see how that second split looks like. Up by 4.5 tenths, so she's doing a good job here. Doesn't need much more.
No, doesn't, but at the same time, we've also got to be wary of track evolution if that kicks in.
But will be more a problem for Q3 if 10th can handle this last corner and charge up toward the line to put herself into that spot. And goes up to P9, that'll knock DJ out. So 3 of our 5 decided now. But if both, Ethan is in the pit lane, so he's good, so that's another car out. HB Cook is on circuit, he's up by a 10th here. If he can gain a bit more, then that might knock TJ out. TJ may be going from the podium last week to a Q2 knockout this week if HB Cook can get his lap in as he goes through turns 9 and 10. 15 seconds and the checkered flag drops to cap off the end of Q2. Only got a few cars out on circuit here. I'll have to wait for 10th and TJ and HB Cook to cross the line to cap off this session, as HB Cook is improving by 2 tenths, but TJ also
This is going to be tight. Yeah, this is going to be pretty tight.
10th retired. She may still get knocked out here. It depends how HB Cook's lap goes, but if he doesn't get out of the bottom 5, then 10th is safe. Towards the line, P11 for HB Cook. It looks to be out then. He is out, and TJ will go through as well. Up towards the line, there he goes. And improved, I believe that's to P7.
P7.
Yes, it is.
Yes. Indeed.
So that was them for Q2 as TJ breezes on through in the end. Huff fastest this session. And look at that. Half a tenth covering the top 4 alone. This going to be a great qualifying. This is a great Q3. Huff fastest from Curtis, Dan, Grumio, and Ethan Quigley. Pope, TJ, Websy, AT, and 10th Cannon will go through for the fight for position. Perhaps what could be one of the wildest Q3s so far this season. Only about a second or so covering everyone there. 6/10 covering, 6.5 covering the top 13. Ericsson and JB, the only ones outside of that window. Both of them go out along with Ethan, DJ, and HB Cook. At the end of it, very exciting Q2. So time them for Q3. 12 minutes to decide your pole sitter for this, the 14th race of the season. And we'll see here is what could be one of the most wide open Q3s we've seen in quite some time. All three, both Haas cars, both Red Bulls, and both Williams cars into the top 10. I got the Sauber of Huff in reserve tonight. The Mercedes of Dan. The V-Carb of 10th Cannon, and the Aston Martin of Websy. I'll say this, Ben. While it might not be a hugely close fight for pole, I'd say the rest of the spots will be decided by a matter of milliseconds as we get into what could be the most exciting qualifying session of the season so far.
Right, indeed. Who knows if Grumio made a slight error and Dan can sweep through. Pope is not that bad on his day, but then it looks a bit off it in Q2. We'll see. But it could be tight.
I'd say either way, Grumio the favourite as he hunts his 6th pole position of the season. Still just 3 pole sitters this campaign. Imri leads them with 7, Grumio with 5, and then Che with 1. That coming last week. Could we get a second straight different pole sitter in tonight's race? It'll be interesting to find out. A number of contenders here who has showed huge flashes of pace in Q2. Huff and Curtis particularly quick. Ethan Quigley's been on it since we got going in Q1, and I'm interested to see what he's got in terms of just mental strength for a Q3 run against some of the toughest names in the game, if I do say so myself. As the first few cars coming through here, his teammate for tonight, Pope, season 11 champion, out on circuit. Of course, very generously gave us a lap earlier in Q1. As we make our way in, right on board with Pope into turn 3 here. That very nice banked left-hander. And coming towards the end of the first sector, we'll see what sort of time he puts in as the initial banker. It's going to be a 23.8 to start us off. And we'll see him behind if anyone can make any improvements on that. But I think for the time being, we're not looking at any for the minute. As Curtis will get into his first lap. 10th Cannon. Oh, car around. Dan is around at turn 3.
Oh dear. And that's a precarious place to Louis' car. And then also rejoin the track.
Unfortunately, the closest car to him in that case in terms of rejoining was
front
Huff.
wing damage.
Oh.
Front wing damage then for Dan as well, so that's his lap completely wrecked.
End plate damage, the left end plate again suffering. Oh, no,
oh, Pope's down!
Oh, Pope at the last corner.
Pope's lost the final corner, doing yet more damage to the Williams. What has gone off in the last 30 seconds?
Ben, what happened? Talk us through that. Do you see it?
Yeah, so just the last part of it, really. Going through penultimate corner, lost it on entry to the final corner. This time goes fastest for 109.7. But yeah, just lost it around after penultimate corner and just hit the wall.
Well, there you go then. Pope and Dan's first lap out the window very quickly as Ethan quickly goes fast. It's only to be then denied by Grumio by 3/10 there. 1 minute 8.3 on the board for the reigning drivers champion of the league. Next car through to the line will be one of the Red Bulls. That's Curtis, half into 3rd place. 1 minute 8.841. Look at that. I mean, it's half a second between the top 3, but those gaps will change very quickly here as TJ goes through the first sector. coming up to complete his first sector. It'd be a 24.080, which is quite close to Pope's initial time. And I wonder perhaps if Pope would be kicking himself for not getting that initial lap off, because that might make things a lot tougher now, because he's used one of those sets of tyres, so he can't go back out on those again. We'll see what he does on his second run, and we'll see whenabouts he does rejoin the circuit. But a tough break for both Pope and Dan.
Yeah, well, I think it's definitely obviously an advantage Grumio as it stands at the moment. I'd like to think after his Q2 pace in particular, Dan will be more kicking himself than Pope, and Pope has gone straight back out.
TJ wide over the curbs there, and lucky to avoid losing control of the Red Bull as he makes his way out to turn 14 to complete his first flying lap. It's going to be a 1 minute 9.6, puts him into 4th place there. So half decent start for the Red Bull team. Curtis in the pit lane, but heading out now onto his lap. Pope, yep, back on circuit as you say, Ben. And Ethan quickly is in at the end of his first run. Grumio towards the line again, not finding any time this time round. Obviously 14 seconds down, so he's definitely backed off at some point. Websy going through turn number 11 now. And set I think that's a 47 I saw in the second sector. Yes, yeah, 47.86. There we are. Last corner for the Aston Martin. We'll see what sort of time he puts in. Up towards the line. It'll be a 1 minute 8.7. That's enough for 3rd place. Well, Grumio in front by just over 3/10 right now. Oh, as Websy takes a shot through the gravel there as he rounds turn 2.
I think that was intentional.
I should think so too. I hope not otherwise. That's all I'll say. Gets the gravel off that race car's tyres as he makes his way through turn 3. And Pope back on circuit on a flying lap now. We'll see what sort of time he puts in. Obviously, he hasn't got a valid lap to compare it against, but he did set a 23.9 in his first sector last time round. It's a 23.999 this time. So still same sort of pace here. And we want to try and put himself back up the order where he should have been at the end of his first run. And we want to try and avoid any sort of mistakes he made in the last sector the first time round as he comes through turns 9 and 10. Into the left-hander he goes, keeping things nice and steady. DRS open as he charges towards turn 11. We'll see what his second split looks like. That's a 47.9, which is slightly slower than Websy's second sector. Websy's in 3rd place right now, so we may see Pope down slightly lower than that unless he sees some big gain in the last sector. He's got a lot of ERS to use, so he can probably go full blast back to the line from here now. So final corner for Pope to cap off his second lap in qualifying. Running the car to the right-hand side there and goes 1 minute 8.794. So about 34,000 off Websy.
Yeah, he definitely took that a lot more cautious on that second run than he did on the first.
And we're hoping perhaps we'll see a bit less concern from Pope on his second lap. Now he's got a time in. We'll have to see what he does on that second go-round as Curtis rounds turn 13 for Red Bull. His teammate TJ currently sitting in 7th place at the moment on a weekend, or rather an evening, where Red Bull could see some big gains trying to close in on Kick Sauber. They sit 18 points behind those guys, and her main point scorer, HB Cook, is outside of the top 10. Half can't score points, remember, and Curtis now P5. These points at the minute would not do it for Red Bull in terms of taking that place, but it helped them a fair bit in closing the gap. Currently looking at a live standings would put Red Bull on 152, so just four points back from Kick Sauber in the space of 1 weekend, and that'll be the impact that Imri not being here for tonight's race will have on that team's prospects in terms of P4 in the constructors. So HB Cook's got some work to do in the Grand Prix to get himself up the order to try and keep Sauber's push for 4th place alive.
Yeah, indeed he does, yeah. Huff may be able to help out there as well with being as a reserve driver. Maybe just by holding up TJ. But Dan is the first. Dan has matched Grumio in the first sector. And gone 2 tenths quick in the second.
So big gains for Dan as he rounds the last 2 corners, looking for that first lap in. And up towards the lines, complete the lap. One of 2 cars on the circuit right now, Dan and Curtis. And Dan goes second fastest by just over 1/10.
Cost himself massively, lost 2 tenths to Grumio in that final sector. Just got stuck on that curb on the penultimate corner.
Easily done that outside curb, waiting for you on corner exit. So we'll see if Dan has got time to go back in and put another set of tyres on. I think he should do if he can it quite close. If he does choose to go for it, but that is with the pursuit of pole position. And obviously, and Dan, I think, again, will be kicking himself in terms of that first lap.
I think Dan will be fairly happy with that. He's been able to correct his mistake, put himself where he does belong at the front of the grid. So we'll see what he can take from here. We've still got 3 minutes left to try and dislodge Grumio.
Well, yeah, there's not a lot of time left, and Grumio is the one to beat here. No one has managed to catch him as of just yet, and we'll see if anyone can. Things still quite close. 1.5 seconds covering everyone in the top 10. Half second between first and eighth. It's just TJ and 10th who's straight outside of that mark with a 1 minute 9.656 and a 1 minute 9.788. Got a car on circuit. That is your reigning champion and current provisional pole sitter. But coming out behind him, I believe. No one coming out behind him for the time being. It's just Dan pulling into the pits. But Grumio being out on circuit should trigger last runs in a matter of moments here. I can't imagine it being too long before we start seeing drivers.
Yeah, very early he's gone out compared to the rest of the grid.
So we'll see if anyone does choose to join him. There goes 10th. 10th there for RB. Pleased to see her back in the top 10. Another Q3 appearance for her this season, as she's currently still fighting on for 6th place in the Drivers' Championship. 1 point covering AT, TJ in 10th. AT on 76 and TJ and 10th both on 75 each. So that's going to be close. And then Curtis just 12 points back too. So not a lot in it for the race for 6th place. Whether you can consider Curtis part of that just yet. I say he's put himself in the right position to try and be doing that. Red Bull looking fantastic in recent weeks. Yeah, you have to agree, Ben. And we'll see if they can do anything in the race.
Yeah, indeed, the will is hopefully Cook is left. Grumio is likely to get a bit of traffic on this lap.
I'm sure it won't bother him too much. Obviously, he's the car in front. Everyone needs to try and catch him on their last runs, as we're still waiting on everyone to come through. Websy maybe coming to the line at the last few seconds to conclude Q3 here. Everyone is now out on circuit. Only Grumio and 10th are currently on flying laps, as Grumio finds 600ths in sector 1. 10th Cannon leaving that first corner and into turns 2 and 3. Obviously, big rotation needed to navigate that third left-hander.
Gone a bit wide. Oh, that's the stop at all. Is Grumio starting to bottle it?
I mean, we'll have to see what his second split looks like here as he comes through. And he's currently almost 10th and a half up. So the answer to that, Ben, is no, as he rounds turn 12. And Grumio looking to put another 10th on the field here as he rounds turns 13 and 14. And it's an ominous sight, but one we're used to so much by this point. Final corner for Grumio to complete this qualifying session. It looks like it can be a 1 minute 8.113. Dan, Ethan quickly, AT, Websy, Curtis probably have to find a lot of time here in this final part of the session. And we'll see as we get to the first sector who's got the pace.
Even that looked a bit scrappy from Grumio standards. It weren't the best lap in the world. The real were kicking out at him. Dan matches Grumio. Oh, this is going to be tight.
Well, it's going to be awfully close. The checkered flag is up. Who's the next car to the line? The next car to the line is Pope as he rounds turn 14. 10th retired the car. She's all good with her lap. 8th place as it stands right now. And Pope charging towards the line. Won't take pole, but goes 4th fastest. Next car through is Huff in the reserve role. Huff goes 3rd.
Dan has backed out. His lap, he made a mistake through turn 9.
Oh, Dan may fall down the order a little bit here if he's unlucky. He's still in P2 right now. Curtis goes up to P4. Ethan quickly towards the line. He's been the one to keep an eye out for in terms of reserves tonight. Ethan up to P2. There he goes.
What a lap.
Move Ethan quickly to the front row of the grid. Oh,
Websy
around. What is happening in the closing parts of qualifying here? Websy losing the car at turn number 10 on corner exit.
He gets the right toe. Don't make a difference. 80 got a right toe from Grumio.
80 up to P7 then. And 10th has fallen down the order quick here. TJ P9. Websy will stay in P8. And 10th Cannon will complete your top 10. But Grumio on pole. And he'll be leading the reserve to turn 1. And that will be a very interesting start as we see how Grumio takes on the new gun. Could there be a new fastest gun out here in Zandvoort? That's the big question, Ben.
Well, the reserve's got nothing to lose. Might as well go for it turn 1 if it gets a good start.
It'll be interesting to see how that gets handled. And we'll see how Grumio takes on the new blood. But Websy heading back to the pit lane now, and that'll cap off qualifying. So your top 10 then, Grumio on pole, Ethan Quigley qualifies second place, Daniel Aaron in third, Huff in fourth, Curtis P5, Pope in P6, AT P7, Websy P8, Mr. TJ P9, and 10th Cannon in P10. There is your pole sitter rounding turn 14 now with his teammate in tow. Grumio will lead into the first corner as he seeks another victory this season to add to that 100-point gap in the Drivers' Championship. That will do us then for qualifying. Be back in a few minutes' time for the start of what should be a scintillating Grand Prix. There is your top 10. One more look at it before we go. And a brief intermission here before we get ourselves underway for what promises to be a fantastic Dutch Grand Prix. Do not go anywhere. We'll be back after this. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Racers Driving League for Season 20, Round 14 of the Championship. And you join us back here at Zandvoort for what promises to be a very, very exciting Dutch Grand Prix. If you just joined us, welcome into the stream. I'm your host, like RC. Alongside me is Ben, once again, in the commentary box, former RDL driver. And we are set to take you through 36 laps of this bull ring of a circuit. Circuit Zandvoort, obviously refurbished and reopened back in the 2020s for Formula One, and not on the calendar much longer here. We might only get about another race or two here at Zandvoort, Ben. So you and I are actually going to have to cherish these ones while we still can. But there is your circuit on the screen: 14 corners, 36 laps. Che is the defending winner, but not here for tonight's race. But the driver in his place, the reserve Ethan Quigley, could be a massive unforeseen factor in how this Grand Prix turns out, as he will go side by side with Grumio to the first corner. If this, prospects alone, Ben, should mean this is going to be a hell of a race.
Yeah, normally it's around Zandvoort, to be fair. Normally really good races around here. Good amount of overtaking, balls are close, so mistakes punished along with gravel as well. Short run down into turn one, so we'll see who gets the better launch off the start.
That launch could be critical as to who goes into the first part of the Grand Prix with the early advantage in the way of tyres, strategy, etc. It all comes to a head here as we get set to have a look at your starting lineup here for this Dutch Grand Prix, round 14 of this season's championship. Grumio starts from pole position, his 6th pole of the season. Ethan quickly lines up in P2. We've got 2 Ethans on the grid for the first time this season. He lines up in P2, starting on the medium tyre. Same thing for Dan and Huff, starting together on row 2. Dan 100 points back from Grumio, and his charge towards the title may begin today after taking the win after last week's race in Hungary. Huff starts P4, still in as a reserve, can't score points, but maybe a huge thorn in the side of the usual leaders. Curtis in P5, finished in 5th in the 2 of the last 3 weeks, and looking for more of the same this time round, if not a place higher in the order. Pope starts in 6th, looking for gains after failing to score last time out. AT in P7, only 1 point separates him from TJ and 10th in the Drivers' Championship. Keep an eye on him for tonight's race. Websy starts in P8, looking to hold on to his lead, or try and break the tie between him and HB Cook in the Drivers' Championship for 10th place. TJ lines up P9, as I say, in that scrap with both AT and the driver starts alongside 10th Cannon in P10. HB Cook P11, again time of Websy, looking to break a number of tyres in tonight's race. DJ P12, and tough break from him in qualifying, looking for some more in the Grand Prix for Aston Martin. Ethan P13, that fight with Aston Martin rages on. He'll lead the charge, try and score some more points for that team. Ericsson P14, just 2 points from all season long. So looking to add to his tally in tonight's race. JP15 fighting an injury. Hopefully go as far as he can in the Grand Prix, and good luck to him. Hopefully things aren't too painful for him over the course of the next 36 laps. Alvar P16 was the first car in Q1, and obviously leading the charge for McLaren to try and close on Alpine and Aston. Then it's Obsessed in behind him in P17, PJ P18, and the two Ferraris on the back row, Lucky Lambert and Courtney Goblin. 4 hard tyre starters, Lucky, PJ, Obsessed, and JB. So might be see a longer first stint for those guys. But Ben, this could be a very exciting run to the first corner here as we get set to get underway.
Let's hope it is. It always is. Andy.
Connie takes his spot then. Last car on the starting grid. Those two Scarlet Ferraris on the back rows. We get set for the start here, waiting for those 5 red lights for the Dutch Grand Prix, season 20, round 14. The lights are on. Lights set, foot to the floor, and we are racing here in Zandvoort. Good start from both the front row gunners. Going towards that first corner. Ethan is there on Grumio's inside into the first turn, and Ethan quickly is there on the inside at turn 1. He may well clear the defending champion as they go through turns 1 and 2 for the first time into turn 2. He's got the outside there. Grumio's got the inside for turn 3. Into the bank left hander they go, contacting the pair of them, and Grumio pulls alongside and now pulls even with the Williams as they go charging through the first sector here. Everyone keeps it nice and clean. Huff and Dan make contact behind them in the race for that third spot into turn 7. Someone's got to give here as Ethan quickly goes into the lead here, and the reserve on his debut leads early on as behind them you see AT and Websy being challenging each other for P7. AT holds on this occasion. Websy moves in behind it, and it's all single file behind them. It looks like Pope's going for a challenge there on Curtis. Can't do it, but Ethan quickly out front here by almost 7 tenths. DJ behind him making a pass on HB Cook. Yeah, what a start.
What a start. What a start from the Williams driver. Hulford's looking over the inside of turn number 10 of Grumio, but nothing made doing as of yet. But Ethan will fairly have the advantage over the reigning champion.
Off the last corner to complete the first of 36 laps, and Grumio's fears may have been confirmed that this rookie means business as Ethan quickly enters the first corner with a 7/10 lead as they back to turn 1. It's Huff in 3rd place, down to 4th, Pope in P5, Curtis P6, then it's AT, Websy, TJ in 10th, your top half. Alvar and Ethan side by side, the McLaren driver making some advances early on this race. Behind them, it's also the same thing for Lucky Lambert. Trying to make a move here on the other McLaren of Ericsson. Goes around the outside. Can't do it on corner exit. Runs the wire line. Has to fall back into line behind. Alvar is still staying clear of the Alpine of Ethan, and will look to try and challenge DJ sooner rather than later. 2 DRS zones on the circuit, one of them about to come into play in a matter of corners time here, and Huff quite close to Grumio. So 2 reserves in the podium places, Ben. When was the last time that happened?
Oh, someone's in the wall. It's Pope.
Pope in the wall. And off the circuit, I'm guessing he must have locked up and perhaps made contact with someone. Not too sure as to what happened there. Shards of his front wing left with him, along with the gravel sent flying over those tyres as Pope recovers the car. And a tough start to this one for Tickleby Pope. He's got a lot of work to do now from going off at turn number 9, and the entire front wing of that car. So big damage for Pope, and now an early trip back to the garage will be firstly on the agenda as Ethan quickly leads lap 2. Huff now goes fastest lap and is challenging Grumio for anything going towards turn 1. These two awfully close here as we begin that 3rd lap. Dan is being left for dead right now. Obviously, Grumio's big concern will be Dan in the Drivers' Championship, as obviously his key will be regardless of whether these 2 reserves finish in front of him. Grumio will take, as it stands, the highest running full-time driver, so will take a full 25 points from this race, but I'm sure would like to keep his pride intact and not lose to a reserve driver in their first race. But I mean, pace is pace, not how you look at it, Ben. If you see what I'm getting at, yeah, speed is speed.
Yeah, it was going to go for that move, Ethan. I did have a slight feeling it would, as Pope does come in through that from wing change. Funnily enough, I heard it before I actually saw the incident. I heard him clout the barrier pretty hard.
Well, there we go. I mean, the sound travels faster, especially in the RDL, where obviously we're just relying on ourselves as TV directors in the same way as we are commentators. But through the last few corners, Grumio a bit off his game there through turns 11 and 12. Huff maybe all over him on corner exits. They make their way through turn 14 to complete the 3rd lap. And Ethan quickly, almost moving out of DRS range completely as they charge towards that first corner. Huff making gains here, but not enough to go for a move just yet. Curtis in 5th place takes fastest lap. So number of quick cars here up front, Ben, in the early going to this race. But it's all single file here. Everyone's sort of found their groove, relaxing into the rhythm of the race. And only Pope is there now, 40 seconds behind Courtney Goblin, and will need a safety car to get himself back in the action, or perhaps go for 1 pit stop less, which could be tough to do on a circuit which has been so high on tyre wear as this one.
Yeah, it's notoriously pretty bad on tyre wear. Particularly the rights, they've taken an absolute beating round here on the right side of the car.
Obviously, I've got a number of championship battles to keep an eye out for in today's race. So far, those battles in terms of the race for P6 and the race for P10 are going the way of AT and Websy, who run P6 and P7 as of right now. TJ behind Websy in P8 and 10th Cannon behind the Red Bull in P9. HB Cook also in that scrap. So P6 to P10 all involved in those, or the main sort of protagonists involved in those scraps in the championship. As Websy locks up big time there going through turn 11, keeps the car under control, but may lose that bit of time to TJ in behind, running in the 8th spot as of right now. 10th Cannon behind him and running slightly deeper line there, running wider on the curb on corner exit through turn 13. And not closing much as of right now. Nothing doing for the time being, so no chance for a move being made there. As Grumio keeps himself very much in range of the race leader. Already on lap 5. This thing is flying past.
It's proven to be a very good 5 laps, to say the least. Very chaotic, I won't lie. Obviously, we had about lap 1 with Ethan Grumio, a few bouts further on behind as well, and then Pope obviously hitting the wall and breaking his front wing.
Not an ideal start for one in the Williams garage, but unfortunately for that team, it's the end at scoring the points in tonight's race. So Pope down the order, and that will not help in terms of Williams' chase for the Constructors' Championship. Haas 100 points in front as it's going into this one, and it looks as though, as it stands, there'll be 126 points clear come the end of the race if things stay as they are for the next 31 laps, which, I mean, this is Zandvoort, so I doubt it will, but we'll see how this race unfolds later on, as Grumio, I think we went for a bit of a slide there, exit at turn 11, half a bit wider on his line, so not gaining too much. Dan in P4, but under a lot of pressure from Curtis there to maintain that spot, but a DRS train in play for the time being, just no overtakes being made as AT, first car without DRS, and Websy may well take advantage. Here comes Websy making his move.
Fairly easy to move into turn 1 there, Zach.
Too easy there for Websy with the DRS in play, of course. Not much longer here, Ben. Once this race is over, we'll have 10 more Grand Prix with DRS before the changes get made. Seth Gamer into the pit lane for the first time today for the Silver Arrows. Medium tyres incoming. It looks like a wing change too. He's lost his left end plate. Those left end plates taking a lot of beating tonight, aren't they, Ben?
Yeah, they don't particularly like the track, I don't think.
Yeah.
Wonder why he's lost that end plate.
I mean, Pope's going to emerge still a fair bit behind Obsessed here, I should think, as Obsessed rounds the first corner. Pope may come out a few seconds back, but I think with natural pace, those two should align eventually. Courtney Goblin, last of the sort of running cars in the main train, but about 3 seconds back now from PJ Khaled in P17. Lucky Lambert hasn't made a ton of progress here. He's P15 right now, so he's made some improvements, but is currently chasing JB and not having much success there. And JB still carrying on just fine, perhaps not struggling as much as he was in qualifying. I think as he sort of settles into the Grand Prix, sort of figuring out what works for his shoulder and what doesn't. If I had to make a guess as to what's going on in the cockpit of that race car, as he rounds turn 14, obviously fair play to him for managing the issue as best he can and working to try and push for a result. I'm sure he wouldn't mind a points finish in this race at a circuit he has won at before, a long time ago in the past, as he chases Ethan for P13. HB Cook holding on to your last points paying spot for now. Red Bull will be looking and licking their lips. The prospects trying to gain some more points on Kick Sauber. Again, 18 points separating those two teams for 4th place in the Constructors going into this race. So that could swing massively if we see TJ go any higher in the order.
Yeah, it could definitely swing 100% of JB goes a bit wide into gravel he goes because that cost him a place. No, Lucky Lambert stayed around. But now JB is just within the 1 second, could maybe drop to outside 1 second. Indeed, it does not.
He drops out of it for the minute, but he'll still gain DRS off Ethan in front, and he'll get himself back into that range and remove any incoming threat of one Lucky Lambert in a Ferrari in behind. Of course, another former champion in this league. As we're on the last corner here, Grumio may be able to get back into business again. He's charging at Ethan quickly down towards the first corner. He's had a great run lead in the first 7 laps of this Grand Prix, but there goes the champion up the inside for our first real scrap for P1 since that opening lap, as DJ finds the pit lane for Aston Martin, and Grumio moves in front. Why is DJ in the pit lane there? Could be damage again early on. No damage done. It's just a change on set hard tyres. That's an odd.
Did say tyres take a beating around here, didn't you, Zach?
Did say that, but I mean that feels. I don't know. That feels uncharacteristically early, especially given that he was one of the he wasn't one of the hard tire starters. We'll see how long the hard tires last for, but we'll see how many more takers there are in the lead pack, and obviously everyone will sort of try and judge it from what they do. But we know these guys are sort of capable of pulling off the one stop in this sort of race. We've seen them in recent weeks at circuits like this, so it'll be interesting to see as to what they do and how everyone else tries to counter that. As Ethan quickly looks for a way around Grumio again. Of course, it'll be him in the catbird seat with DRS in a matter of moments' time.
Yeah, we've got two races forming against that. We've got one between the top 4 and then the rest from like 5th all the way down.
And both of them being led by a Haas too, let's not forget. But Ethan quickly again looks to try and change that. He's going to try the outside here. Grumio defends the inside. But Ethan's got a bit different ideas. Goes to the inside. That was gutsy, but he locks up. And Grumio gets back through again. But that is what Grumio is dealing with in the early portion of this Grand Prix. I don't think he's done just yet. Number of cars in the pit lane here, so I think we are seeing permanent changes here. So we might be seeing those first stops coming in, Ben. And hard tyres, the key choice. You see Ericsson putting them on. And quite a nice camera angle there for McLaren, who have done their homework in terms of camera direction this week in Zandvoort. But Ethan quickly, he went for that move. It was gutsy, it was brave, and without the lockup, it almost worked out for him.
Yeah, almost brilliant there as well. But that's what you like to see from a reserve driver, taking it to a 10-time world champion as a Grumio. Grumio's got a lot to lose here, but Ethan has really got quite a bit to gain. He is proven to be a fantastic driver the first 10 laps or so.
Indeed, Obsessed Gamer, another penalty, gets his first penalty, 10 seconds for speeding in the pit lane. Soft tyres on that car, so I'm not quite sure what the game plan is for Mercedes from here, given that we're seeing drivers pit after 7 or 8 laps from the medium tyre. So it'll be interesting to see how long his softs last. We'll see if there are any takers in the lead pack this time. Nope. No, sorry, no, it goes half. Half of the first car, the front cars.
Watch Ethan.
Into the pits. Here goes Ethan to the outside. And gets in front.
Oh.
There's a bit of room. The left on corner exit. TJ penalty speed in the pits. So they go side by side here. They're sliding around. It's
That's tight. You know what? It's actually made it stick. What a move.
It's fantastic stuff here. And it's going to allow Daniel Aron back into play in that Mercedes lead. Try and get himself close enough to get involved in this scrap. There's always something in this circuit, Ben. I've always said it. There's always something happens at Zandvoort that just means complete carnage, whether there's contact or not. As we are starting to see cars come into the pit lane, and now the majority of cars are on hard tyres. It's that top 5 and Courtney Goblin who have stayed on the same set since the start in terms of medium tyres. And we'll see if there's any changes here as Grumio steps up again, going down towards turn 11. I shouldn't think there'll be a pass made here. I can't help thinking, Ben, if these two are nose to tail on the final lap in 26 laps time, will there be sends going on down at turn 11, or will it be a charge up to the line? Because we've seen that before. Photo finishes are not lost on his face, is all I'll say.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. Guaranteed that what we're seeing is a Williams just pulling to bits. Does he avoid the 10 seconds? Indeed he does.
You saw a big lock up there to try and avoid that. So I dare say they've been carrying a lot of speed with Grumio right in behind him, as 10th Cannon will join Ethan quickly in the pits. JB stays out. He's in P5 right now. Obviously the V-car pit box is full, so can't pit this time to risk a double stack. Lucky Lambert to 4th place here. Yet to make his first stop. Might go a bit longer on these tyres by about a lap or two. There's not a lot in it in terms of the mediums to hard tyre ratio there. As Huff will now emerge in front of Huff and Curtis, both out in front of Ethan quickly. That'll be interesting because those two, if pacey on these hard tyres, may well come out in front of these guys in the position. And Huff will now in a net P1. It'll come down to when Grumio down an AT pit. This is going to be interesting.
Ethan's actually going to go for it. Oh, wow. That was tight.
He's not done yet. I mean, you should try it on exit turn 7. I think he wants to try to do something for turn 8, but nothing doing for now. And we'll see what he does as Curtis now has some idea of what is behind him.
Guarantee he's not seeing what's happening in front. So Grumio's going to get stuck in this without a shadow or a doubt. How big is the undercut around it? It's about 2 seconds a lap, I think.
Grumio and Dan both staying out. AT, whether he takes the pit lane, not too sure. Lucky in P4, those all staying out for the time being. Oh, JB with a slide there through turn 14. Keeps the car safe, but we may say a change here for 8th place now, Ben, as PJ comes in. So it'll be a change for P7 as Ethan quickly makes the pass with DRS to his benefit. And now Curtis falls behind. And it'll be tough next up for the reserve.
Just how quickly, so it's reserve reserve then. for currently 6th place.
Do you know what? I could sort of sense the tongue tiredness coming on. So at the moment you started that, but you know it's easily done. Reserve and reserve isn't perhaps the.
Been a long day.
So it's not the kindest thing to say. Yeah, it's been a long one. This is about 8:15 here, and we obviously sat here commentating this quite frankly phenomenal race. And Lucky Lambert on the tail of 18 now. So I wonder if Lucky's man, or obviously he's on a hard tyre, so one of those medium tyres are now starting to reach their tether as Grumio and Dan, some 7 seconds, 8 seconds clear, now head towards the pit lane this time. Did one of them take it? No, both of them staying out. So I think both of them trying to go as long as they can that first stint. And Dan closing on Grumio. Shouldn't go for a move here. But as the top 2 in the championship run 1-2 in the race now. But Ethan quickly now behind Huff. Reserve and reserve, as you put it, Ben, off the last corner. And towards turn 1, I think DRS here is only for one winner. As Ethan quickly sets fastest up and goes blasting through into 6th place.
Had to get that done now, a bit cleaner.
And I'll say this as a seasoned commentator of this league, Grumio obviously has been a dominant force for a long time, and obviously I don't want to jinx anything for the time being because commentator's curse is very, very real. But there's always been a number of drivers who have shown up and have been able to challenge Grumio immediately in terms of a race win, even as a reserve. And those drivers are particularly exciting to come across because, I mean, the most recent example would be Gaming James a couple of seasons ago back on F1 24, and he pushed Grumio all the way. He's got car around. Huff is around.
Oh no!
Spun the car at turn number 9, and has to recover it. Oh, that was close. I think he may have lost a bit of wing.
Quick.
And
right, I don't think it's quite worthy of it. Yeah, I don't think it's quite worthy of a 10-second, but that's what the game's for.
It's a tough break there, and I dare say, I mean, there was contact, and in this time it's the right end plate that's been lopped off the car, so that makes a change for us. We'll see him probably back in the pit lane here to get a fresh wing on. We'll see how he handles things in these next few corners. I think he's coming in.
Yeah, we'll likely come and get that change because those tyres will be scorched now. So that's throwing Huff's face a bit up into the air, and he's going to have a bit of a recovery drive ahead of him now.
JB rejoins, currently running in P13, make that P14 as Ethan gets through on pit exit. JB falls back into line behind. And yeah, I mean, we're sort of in a point now, we're just waiting for those leaders to come in. Lucky Lambert, they're in 3rd place, doing a fantastic job on those hard tyres. AT in behind, obviously he hasn't made a stop. Ethan quickly goes to the inside there, and that's a big move at turn 10. That's not an unorthodox place to go for a pass, but he's made it work. And 3-lap hold hard tyres versus 13 laps, no chance there. Oh. Yellow flag, and that is, I think that's Huff again. No? Oh, he's out. He's out. There we go.
Huff is out of the race. Yeah.
So retire in the pit lane then. As Dan comes in.
Dan may get the undercut on Grumio if he does not get hold up in traffic.
I dare say he may end up in that traffic there going from TJ down. I'm not too sure. AT also going in the pit lane. I can't think Grumio will be too far behind in terms of making a stop. And Dan is going to emerge with that traffic, I think.
Right. Yep, indeed he will.
Imagine behind the traffic, actually side by side with HP
Good job behind Cook. Wow.
So half out the race
just showing how much the undercut is really powerful around here.
So I have to see as to when Grumio comes in.
Oh, someone's lost it.
Oh.
Who lost it? Dan went for a little while spin. Gold tyres.
He's easily done as he keeps the car under control as he goes through turn 7. Have to warm those things up sooner rather than later. As Ethan quickly has now made the pass on Lucky Lambert. And Ericsson 10 seconds of speed in the pit lane, and he is out. So another car gone then this early on.
What a shame is DJ goes miles wide of the apex in turn 10 and may well have a kick right on the back of him. No, remains in the DRS chain. Dan goes for move instead.
Yeah, Dan's got other ideas. Oh, Grumio!
Oh,
10 seconds in the pit lane,
now.
and that'll cost
that's
him.
That's gonna spice the race up.
And I dare me in saying that. I mean, Ethan quickly's made his stop. He's just taken the race lead. I wonder if that may have actually handled the. I mean, it's early, but Ethan quickly is this far in front. With everyone having made pit stops, he's made a stop, and he's now gonna. He's now some. Obviously with Huff out, he's now some good 7 or 8 seconds in front of the cars he was chasing. As Webbsy now runs in 4th place. I think he's yet to make a stop. No, he has stopped. Only Lucky Lambert gets to make his pit stop in this race. And that might be big here for the Williams reserve.
They're on the outside.
We'll see how he handles the chasing Grumio in the second half of the race, because Grumio can be fast as he goes for it there. But
Here's a question then. What do you do when you Grumio now? Do you convert to a 2-stop and just go for it? Try and get rid of that 10 seconds, try and claw back what you got? Or do you stick it out on a 1-stop?
if I know Grumio, he'll stick out on the 1-stop if I have to say. If there's a safety car, it plays into his hands quite nicely, so a bunch of them back up again, and mean he can just sort of go full kitchen sink at it and just charge after the pack, which we've seen him do many times before. If he can drop that 10 seconds, will be beneficial to him. I think, and he's the longer he can make those tyres last, because Grumio has always been a tyre whisperer in that sense, as he's got several cars coming at him. Web's in the outside there.
Go on, Websy.
All right, impartial from Ben, who wants someone else to Grumio win. Makes sense.
Someone's fighting Grumio, and it's not a reserve driver.
Oh,
we'll see.
Dan wants a corner exit. There goes Daniel Aaron up into the 4th spot, and that was very dicey indeed. His 10th cannon runs in behind these guys, and as it stands right now, she'll be scoring some big points too. Curtis in 2nd place, having made his pit stop too. So this is big for Curtis and Red Bull as well. TJ down in P10, but as it stands right now, I dare say, I mean, it's tough with HP Cook in the top 10 too, but Red Bull really closing on Kick Sauber. And if something was to happen to Ethan Quigley now, that would put Curtis in a golden spot, with Grumio already 4.5 seconds behind him. Despite closing that gap already, he's still got a 10-second penalty to think about. So Curtis in quite a remarkable spot here in this going to the second half of the race.
Is this the 2nd time or the 3rd time this season now where Grumio's had a 10-second time penalty for speeding in the pit lane?
It's the only way he gets those penalties is either track limits or pit lane speeding, if nothing else.
Yeah. Just had a bit of a side note on 10-second speeding in pit lane penalties. For crying out 6, so we're already up to a minute of penalties.
I mean, 2 more of them, and that would be the case, yeah. 40 seconds as of right
So
now.
we've already been served.
Yeah, 10 for... Oh yeah, a few. There's been... yeah, that's correct, yes.
Yeah.
Oh, so someone's more in it than I am in that sense. That's okay. I can handle that.
Yeah. Sorry.
Don't apologise, you're fine. we have fun, don't we?
Yep. Always follow the college vote for you, though.
Love a good Monday night. 10th Cannon still running in P5, so good points for VCAR as of right now. Obviously, that'll help them to pull away from the Aston Martin Alpine's gap. Obviously, there's quite a lot of gap there to begin with. I'm sure JB will be pleased. But JB, as it stands right now, only 1 place out of the points. And currently, given that there's a reserve in the top 10 and the 2 cars in front of him both have 10-second penalties, JB's currently running sort of around, in terms of points paying place, he'll be given the points for 8th, which I think, given injury, not too bad at all.
That'll be a fantastic drive. Is this Grumio being passed by Daniel Aaron? It is indeed, down up to 3rd.
So Dan makes another change here, and I think if these two keep holding each other up, then that could be big for the cars in front. Obviously, I mean, if Ethan Quigley wins the race, Curtis as it stands right now will get the full 25 points for the win. So, I mean, Ethan Quigley here, I mean, leading, but this would be more a statement of intent, as a statement to say, I mean, we'll see how he performs in later appearances in the season, but I mean, we could be saying, give this guy a full-time seat in a few weeks in a few weeks time, depending on
that now.
Yeah, I mean,
It's going to take him 20 laps.
I don't know. He might just be a good example. We'll have to wait and see.
We'll find out.
That is the great thing about taking on reserve drivers, especially in a league which only has a few sacred spots for those reserves. When they come in, they've got to perform, because I mean, there are some seasons where that revolving door for seats is constantly swinging back and forth, round and round in circles. But we haven't seen much change this season. It's been relatively peaceful in that sense. The only change being, only major change being Rydog out and Lucky Lambert in earlier on in the season. HP Cup makes the pass there on DJ into the first corner. DRS in play for the Kick Sauber as he moves into another position for that team. Alvar still P9 and JB currently 4 seconds back from TJ in P10. There goes Ethan, goes to the inside. Ethan makes the pass. Oh, contact! In behind!
Oh,
18 Lucky.
Off.
Lucky round.
You lost it. Oh, no, what a shame for Lucky.
Reset the car, got himself moving again.
Well, that's good to see. He's got no front wing damage, so he can just carry on. But that is mammoth time lost.
5 seconds back from PJ. He's at good pace here, so it wouldn't surprise me to see him on his tail by the end of the race. As AT carries on in behind Ethan and JB now. JB getting back around the Alpine driver there through all that. As we continue on, out of our P9, it's currently, I mean, that's a Obsessed Gamer a lap down here. He's had a tough day in this race so far. He's made 3 stops. That's more than anyone else today.
Yeah, it's not exactly the best of races, has he? That
Dan,
is
oh,
bit of a shame.
let's cut you off here. Ben comes down on the inside of Curtis towards someone. Let's race for second place. Dan gets through, and Grumio follows him. Oh, wow!
That could have ended badly. And it may well end badly.
Wow.
Jesus.
That was a heart-in-mouth moment and gut-wrenching, but what a pass from Salve Grumio, and just turns around and says to Dan and Curtis, my friends, is that all you've got? What an overtake that was. Double overtake, 2 for 1, and Grumio sets off now, 7.5 seconds back from Ethan quickly, with that 10-second penalty to think about. A safety car would do Grumio in, I think, but for now, if you can try and catch the debutant in good time, it may not be over yet.
Wow. I don't think he even meant that. I think it was accidental. He had no choice but to go for it, otherwise he's careering into the back of the Red Bull.
Sometimes that is just the scenario that arises in these races, and that's the sort of thing you just got to deal with. And you see him dealing with it on the fly spectacularly. As there goes TJ passing Alvar for the 8th spot. Red Bull continues to gain points here. 12 points it stands right now for Curtis, and 4 going the way of TJ. But with the reserve stuff in place, it'll be 15 for Curtis and 6 for TJ. So that is... I'm losing math. That's 21 points for Red Bull, and currently just 6 for HP Cook for Sauber. Oh, yellow flag.
Yeah.
And that is Pope off a second time, and turn 9 again captures the season 11 champion and his prospects for this Grand Prix, and that'll be a tough break from his reserve teammate. Is actually on his way through to lap him here.
Oh, that's going to hurt.
And Pope's got obviously...
Yeah, more front wing damage as well.
Yep.
Sorry to cut you off, Anzat, but
No.
more front wing damage for Pope.
You're all good there. No problem on the old damage cam there, but not a problem. But yeah, same sort of thing as it was. I think lucky to have at least part of the wing on, as opposed to instant very early on in this Grand Prix. Still got 14 laps to go, and Grumio means business now. He's now 6.2 seconds behind. He's getting about a second and a half since we last tuned in with him, and down 1.7 back. That's just sort of your sign as the Grumio has turned the afterburners on and is hunting down that debutant, that reserve driver who has put him on blast there in this first half of the Grand Prix. And yellow flags out, Pope retiring the car. And
That was to be expected after his little chat, or I say little chat, or he's had about 3 arguments for the wall, did that.
And the thing here, that's the thing with racing and hitting barriers, is the fact that one of you is going to end up with a headache, and it won't be the barrier.
Brilliant.
Number of cars in the pit lane here. I think this hard tyre are starting to run out, so we won't be seeing second stops in to get to the end of this Grand Prix from here. And that will likely mean that Grumio eliminates his 10-second penalty, but obviously puts him away back against that fight for the race victory, which is still very much on, given how much he's gaining time here. He's getting about 2 seconds or so in 2 laps. So big gains, as you've seen one of the guys serving their 10-second penalties. So that is less to think about on that front as we continue on here. JB now in P9 as things run. So he's doing a fantastic job here, and still within 10 seconds of TJ and Alvar. So looking here at potential finish as high as 7th place, which is fantastic for JB, given the situation for him right now. I'm sure that if there is pain, he's fighting through it, because I'm sure he wouldn't like to give up points like these.
I'm sure he wouldn't, yeah, but at the same time, you also got to prioritise health. So if he gets that bad, oh, who's gone round?
The yellow flag there, I think that's an Obsessed Gamer. No, sorry, no, it's for Dan. Dan's had a mishap.
Dan and play damage, down back into the bits. Oh, the race is unfolding right before our very eyes. Like.
Dan then will fall down the order, and any chance he had of gaining on his championship rival may have gone out the window here. Wing change, TJ 10 seconds. That's a second penalty for him if memory serves. He's coming to serve one. He's still got to serve another one. So TJ, I think the race is over for him too. And this is becoming a real race of attrition now, Ben, as these guys are all sort of scrapping for these positions. And all the while, Ethan Quigley has made his second stop, and it's now only about 13 seconds back. He's 13 seconds back from Grumio. He's got 10 seconds as is. So he's going to emerge quite a way in front here. AT in 4th, JB 5th, Ethan, PJ, Curtis 10th, and DJ on top 10.
Yeah, Grumio still got the same dilemma as what he had about 10 laps ago when he pitted. The thing with Grumio is, can he gain that time back? That 10 seconds is going to cost him dear.
I dare say it is, and I say you probably want to pit sooner rather than later and get that sorted. Lucky Lambert onto a set of medium tyres. Now that is ambitious for the end of this Grand Prix. He has done 13 laps on them. Obviously, he did quite well on his hard tyres earlier on in this race. He made the hard tyres last a fair bit earlier on in the race, but whether he's got where it goes to go for more in this last stint is be the question. As Websy pits in, AT will move into 3rd place, but JB's in behind him with DRS to go as well. JB making his move on the inside there, going towards someone thinks better. It moves back into line. But JB's about, and he's here to play.
Both of these drivers have not had a single moment this race. Fair play to him, because obviously JB's got his issue, AT's had a few issues here and there in qualifying, it's staying back right for the race, so credit to these two. Don't forget about PJ though in all this.
PJ their P5, obviously there'll be big points for Alpine in their fight against Aston Martin in the Constructors. But I should think we'll still perhaps see PJ pitting in this late portion of the Grand Prix. I feel like we may see Grumio in as well. I'm not too sure as to when that'll be.
I think Grumio's going to wing it.
Might be this time perhaps.
I think he's got to wing it. I don't know what you'd do if you were Grumio.
I mean, he's already about 10 seconds in front of Ethan, so I think his aim right now will be to try and stay out and just sort of try and avoid losing as much time as possible. Because I mean, as of right now, in terms of full-time drivers, he is there for 25 points, so I'm sure he's not too concerned from here. Dan's no concern. So Dan's down in P10. That pit penalty, not pit penalty, rather the spin, or I'm guessing maybe had the damage, has cost him greatly here. It's up to him to try and recover this thing. As PJ now pits, and
Indeed it does.
JB is hunting a podium finish right now. We're going to put it that way. Being Kurtz and 10th, both Kurtz in particular is closing in. 10th, DJ and Webster are also closing in on their fresh, hard tyres. But it's looking solid for JB right now. I dare say he's got a good shot at some points in this thing. Some podium, rather, for JB.
Yeah. Let's just hope that shoulder stays intact for him.
That is the only question left. But yeah, I mean, it's been a very exciting race, this one. Without a question, it's been exciting. And we are still about 10 laps from the finish.
It's always a good one round here, so I can say it's always really good round Zandvoort.
I always say it, and yet I've never been proven wrong. Honestly, the day I get proven wrong about the circuit is the day that I'm not here.
Brilliant. Gap's going down to 8.8 now, so I think Grumio is going to have to box.
I mean, I'm not too sure here. JB's in. This will be his second and final stop of the Grand Prix here, with 9 laps to go. Medium tyres going on. Those tyres should make the flag, I should think, without any concern. And he's still running in the points as it stands right now, but saying that drops down to P11. That might be P12 here, as both the Alpines of Ethan and PJ get through. JB's got a bit of a slide there on pit exit. He's got work to do though, and he'll emerge in front of TJ as they race back to turn 3. Now cold tyres in play here for JB. We'll see how he handles those.
Dan's trying to make his way back through the field. He's got the Aston Martin DJ. He's been able to clear Websy at turn 1 around the outside. But can he clear the other Aston Martin into turn 11?
He's going for it. Goes around the outside. Oh, contact!
Wow.
They bang tyres, and both cars get away unscathed. I doubt Dan will be too pleased with that. They go wheel to wheel on corner exit towards turn 13. DJ gets in front, but Dan may have backed off to get a good switch back in, and now DRS to his advantage. Goes no DRS for either one of those two cars. But DJ around! Well, almost around, saved it. And
they got damage.
I think he might have done. That end plate looks a bit more empty. No, he doesn't. He's good.
Someone, I swear I've just seen an end plate go flying.
I have to have a look here, see if it belongs to anyone else. It looks like
No.
the other cars are all intact here, so I've been seeing things, Ben. You never know.
My apologies. I'm seeing things now. You can tell I'm getting tired.
Obviously been a long day. But it's always good to come back to these races in the Monday evenings to start the week off. Curtis is on for a podium finish right now. AT is still chasing him. It's a big points for Haas right now. Grumio in the lead outright, but obviously Ethan Quigley is looking like he's going to be a reserve race winner. And I haven't had a ton of those in the RDL. It's not been since, if memory serves, in terms of a driver to win on their debut as a reserve, no one has done it since Cot joined the league. And that was if memory serves, that was the season 15 Japanese Grand Prix. So it's been a long time, and Cot went on a winning tear as a reserve. Won his first 3 or 4 races in the league as a reserve driver. Couldn't put up the same numbers as a full-time runner, but I wonder if Ethan Quigley may have what it takes to take on Grumio over, or at the very least over a race distance. He's definitely been a thorn on the side of the front runners. I'd like to see how Che and Imri will handle taking him on. It's going to be interesting to see if he comes back in the next few weeks, and perhaps if he runs the race in Singapore, the 100% one. That would be interesting to see how he handles a full race distance. But he's 5.1 behind Grumio now. We'll come to the line with 7 laps to go when Grumio crosses it.
Yeah, it got down to 5 seconds as well. So, yeah, what does Grumio do? Does he just hold it out? He probably will from here on in. So with that, or does he box for set us off and just absolutely sends it?
I'd say he probably keeps it out from here because from Ethan, Curtis is another 17 seconds back in 3rd place. So Grumio on course is still to finish in 2nd place right now, and that will still be full points for him. As Curtis rounds turn 14, he is 7 laps on podium. As Obsessed Gaming gets another penalty there for speeding in the pit lane. It's been a difficult day for him, but he's carrying on, and soft tyres go onto that race car. That will be his 4th stop of the Grand Prix, I believe. Yes, it is.
Yeah, indeed it is.
Grumio the 1 stop.
Shame really.
Work.
Yeah, shame really for the work. Say that again.
Yeah, both Grumio and AT are the 1 stop. Fantastic.
Mental. Maybe it's just a Haas tyre where it seems to be a lot lower.
I mean, saying that, AT's got a number of tough customers on his tail there. 10th, Websy, Dan, HP Cook, those guys still together. DJ about 6 seconds back in P9 since that incident a few laps ago. And PJ hanging on to the last point with his teammate right behind him. JB dropping back a little bit here. Currently 1.5 behind, but might need someone to go on in front of him in order to try and nab something late in this Grand Prix. Because the 10 seconds...
Fucking 10th.
Yeah, 10th and P5. Yeah, she's doing remarkably. I may yet take P4 if she can find a way around AT in the closing laps.
10th yet to pit. No, 10th has stopped twice, AT just once, so every single lap that lap counter ticks down is another lap where 10th may go for it already.
And she's going for it now, wasting no time.
Push into the pit lane nearly.
It's quite close. Oh, there goes Websy around the outside. Close to contact. They do make contact. And damn, I take advantage of both cars here. 3 wide towards turn 2. That's not going to work out, surely. It doesn't.
No, that has to fail.
They all knew better there. They all absolutely knew better. But 10th now in P4 and pulling away. He's 1.1 clear.
Oh.
The question...
That is bump drafted. Bump drafting. Jesus.
It's ridiculously tight here. I'm just waiting for one driver to get unsettled because that might change everything. There's still time for a safety car if it happens on this lap.
Then it's not IndyCar here, mate.
We had our fair share of it yesterday. Websy went to try and challenge AT. He's now, but I dare say Dan may have different ideas. They're going to go 3 wide again. Almost went 3 wide. Websy and Dan, very experienced and know better. And both of them waiting for the opportunity at turn 1 here. This would be the one for them. This would be the way where they go for it. On Websy, on AT. They're all of them come with a full sort of head of steam here. And AT is going to be looking nervously at that mirror. As the cars are getting onto his rear wing. Here comes Websy towards that first corner. Does he send it? He's going to go for it. He's there to the inside. He's got to give him the space. We're on lap 32 now. Just 5 laps to go in this Grand Prix.
Dan's trying the open under.
Dan trying it. There he goes.
It can't get much worse for Obsessed, can it?
It really can't. 10 seconds for ignoring blue flags there. Whereabouts is he on the circuit? He's there at turn 3, so I think he just has to let these guys go. And then from there, we'll have to carry on. And now get moving again. Right, 4 laps to go. And Grumio now 1.6 in front of Ethan Quigley. So that gap is closing. So Ethan may yet win the race anyway.
Again.
Dan is still challenging. There he
fast.
goes.
What class race this is? Yet more contact. Dan finally gets a move done.
And up into P6. And we'll now need to try and survive the onslaught from behind him because both Websy and HP Cook will come back at him as he tries to take on AT. They're all going to be together here. Dan goes past. Does Websy try and do what Grimmy did earlier?
Yeah.
Sends it. Oh, that's close.
Contact.
Contact again. And HP Cook is
Oh no.
going against AT. Dan, I think we're trying and pull away now and just get out of dodge completely in these closing laps. PJ passing DJ. Ethan behind. JB not to fall back either. A penalty for any one of these guys could put JB back in the points.
The gap's down to less than a second now, Zach.
Oh, it's close. Up front, that's what we've got our eye on here. And there's a DRS still coming up too, Ben. And I'm wondering, despite taking a whole nother pit stop, Ethan Quigley has closed Grumio down. And DRS is in play. Grumio knows he's going to get the full 25 points from this one, but now is also vehemently aware of a driver that could become a serious challenger to him should he stay on in this league. And we're looking perhaps at a change for the race lead sooner rather than later. So here we are then. This is the situation with just 3 laps to go here at Zandvoort. And I wonder when Ethan goes for it. He tries the outside there. That was, I think, unorthodox and a bit too eager from Ethan as he goes into turn number 8. But he's still in there behind Grumio. Knows he's got this race won. And if he stays where he is on the rear wing of that car, Grumio is going to want the race win on track, I should think.
So,
DRS is there.
in the Discord, will it go down as Grumio's win, or will it go down for Ethan to win?
That's down for you to decide, Ben. In all seriousness, that depends on if Ethan actually wins the race from here. So he makes his way in behind Grumio again, but DRS this time, he's on his tail. This should be light work, given he's on stronger, hard tyres. So he goes to the inside, there's on 80 laps to go, and this is the change for the lead then. 2 laps to go, and Ethan quickly gets back in front. And now sits 2 laps away from an RDL victory here. Something that, if memory serves, no reserve driver in terms of making their debut in the league has done since COT 5 seasons ago, almost 5 seasons exactly to the point. Behind the battle behind for what was 4th place is dissipated. 10th is 3.6 behind Curtis. Will get credited with an RDL podium here, as Ethan will obviously drop out the order and give Grumio the 25 points for the win. Curtis will get 18. It'll be 15 for 10th. That'll be her first full-time RDL podium when all is said and done. Ethan and PJ side by side. The more they scrap, the more JB could close in. A penalty for either one of those 2 cars will put him in the points paying place. And that's a driver I do want to see get something from this race today. I hate seeing
Grumio's off.
Oh!
Grumio went off into gravel, pushing too hard.
He's recovered it, but now it's 1.6, almost 1.7 behind. And Ethan Quigley's got no challenges left as he comes through to start the bell lap here at Zandvoort. It's been a chaotic race, as it always is, around this bullpen of a racetrack. As he passes that sea of orange and goes into turn 1 for the 36th and final time. Grumio has been, well, for the first time in quite a while, and to put it quite mildly, trounced in this Grand Prix in terms of pace. And that, I can't remember the last time I said that in any capacity. Curtis through to his last lap. He'll be taking 18 points if he can finish this next lap. It'll be his first podium of the season, no matter how you look at it. And 10th Cannon through to start her final lap. Dan now in P5.
Look at Dan and Websy.
Websy going at it into turn 1. It's a send from Websy. Dan locks up. These 2 veterans of the series going at it again. And PJ and Ethan fighting behind too. JB wants to one way back into this one. And Websy, I dare say, may have used his last chance there as Dan is pulling away again. I have to wait and see how it's like when they come to the line. But as they enter the last sector now, the sea of orange is on their feet as the part orange Williams comes through turns 13 and 14. Grumio will take the full 25 points for the race win, but let's not take away from this man, Ethan Quigley, who on his RDL reserve debut takes the checker flag and wins the Dutch Grand Prix. Checker flag is up, he wins it. Grumio home in second position and will take the full 25 points for the win. So full-time winner's day is Grumio. That's another win to his tally for the season. Curtis will come through, a podium finish for him. Second place, 18 points going his way, third on the road. A brilliant race driven by Curtis, who's had the minerals all day today. Across the line, perfect executed race from Red Bull. And 10th Cannon will come home for 4th place on track, but will be credited as an RDL podium finish for her. Dan in P5, Websy, HB Cook, AT fell to 8th in the end, but did 22 laps on those hard tyres. PJ to the flag in P9, Ethan P10, those two weaving across. No crutches necessary for JB, 11th place for him. TJ P12, and Alvar has gone at the last. He's crashed the car before the line.
Alvar, no.
Oh, Alvar. And it's not the first time I've seen him do that, in all truth. Well, there you have it. Alvar has done that very late on. But a different winner then atop the podium. It's Ethan Quigley who wins. And that might be a name we start to hear for quite a while, should things work out in a certain manner. Grumio, home second on the road, soundly beaten today. Ethan with the extra stop managed to win the Grand Prix. And Curtis appears on that podium. And after reserves, it'll be Curtis and 10th Cannon in the top 3. Great race there. Very, very enjoyable, Ben, to say the least. I love this circuit. It's a shame that in a few seasons' time it'll be off the calendar in the RDL and F1, and I hope it returns someday because it's a fantastic racetrack. And yeah, not much more to it in that sense. So Ethan Quigley, your winner. Grumio in second place. Curtis Shepard third. 10th Cannon fourth. Next Dan in P5. Websy, HB Cook, AT, PJ and Ethan round out your top 10. P11 for JB in the end. Fantastic team make it to the end of the race. DJ P12. Lucky Lambert P13. TJ P14. Alvar classified as he did get to the 95%, but crashing a few hundred meters before the line. Cotley Goblin P16. Obsession P17 made the end of the Grand Prix. Fair play 10-2. Pope, Ericsson and Huff go down as your retirees in this race. That was a race. Let's put it that way.
That was one heck of a race. That was brilliant.
Thoroughly
Can we
enjoyed
do that again?
I'll do that again. Yeah, sure. Why not? I mean, we'll do it another night because that was quite tiring, to put it mildly. Because as fun as the chaotic races are, they are also sort of great stress inducers when it comes to sort of getting to check a flag on one of these races. But we'll get post-race interviews underway shortly. I'll give Ben a bit of a breather just from the action, and we'll see who comes in to talk to us. We'll see if we can get a word from the race winner, who's done a remarkable job today. It has to be said. Yeah, we'll see if we get anyone in. But I mean, that was simply lovely from Ethan Quigley, who wins it. And yeah, I mean, that could be a name, as I say, that we see for quite some time to come, depending on how things go. We'll see if we can get our first talk with the guy. Oh, I mean, that was it was great fun, to say the least. And obviously, let's not forget Curtis on the podium too. 10th Cannon on the podium. Those two both in there after reserves. I imagine 10th will be elated. She always joins us for these. I just have to see as to who comes in. And obviously, let's not forget that overtake that Grumio made mid-race on Dan and... So I've lost my memory. Who was it?
It was an Aston Martin, I think it was.
Oh, well, that'd be Websy then. Dan and Websy, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it was phenomenal stuff. I mean, yeah, brilliant race. And Grumio, despite that, still getting it with the 25 points, and we'll gain about 15 of those in the Drivers' Championship. But I mean, yeah, it's just big stuff. And we have got 10th Cannon in. 10th, welcome into the commentary box. And once the reserves are tied out of the way, you, my friend, are back on the RDL podium. Welcome back to the commentary box.
It has taken, I think, almost 2 seasons for this. 3 maybe, no. 2 or 3 seasons then.
You're looking at... You're looking at... This is your 50th start, if the Hall of Fame is correct. It's taken you 50 races in terms of full time to get yourself back on the podium. 4th place 4 times, but now 3rd place just the once. How's that feel?
Oh, finally. It's kind of disappointing a little bit that I couldn't, get it on the track but I mean, to have it at all, I think feels like such an achievement considering how stacked this league is at the moment, especially considering the new reserve who was so quick this week. Like, it is so hard to finish in the top 5 nowadays, let alone the top 3. Oh.
I mean I mean I'm just sort of, I can't tell whether it's sort of relief or exhaustion in your voice there after the race, but I mean that was a tense one. I mean, as you said, the grid was incredibly stacked. Majority of cars qualified down the order came charging forward. In terms of just sort of competitiveness as a whole today, how was it for you?
Well, I think the big thing today was tires, which I guess is a little annoying because I'm not a big fan of races where you can't really overtake much and it's more just like tire saving, seeing who can save the tires the best. But I mean, I can't complain. I had a feeling early on that the 2-stop would be the way to go, and seems that was correct. I had some really fun racing with Websy, Dan, DJ, I think Cook and the like. That was really fun, but yeah, I'm just really happy with how that went.
I'll say this as well. Obviously, you were in that chase with AT and TJ for the to get P6 back in the championship. AT finished in 8th, TJ finished outside of the points, so that should put you firmly back in 6th place at least for the next few weeks or so. So is that a relief too?
Yes, I think so. I'm not sure if no, Curtis has not jumped me. I didn't know if he was because he was close in that battle as well. But yeah, that feels good. I'm hoping I can elaborate on that a little bit and kind of keep that up a bit. I don't know. I don't think it's going to come in the form of another podium anytime soon, but I'm hoping there's lots more points finishes to come.
I'll have to wait and see. I mean, Monza next time out, would that be a circuit you try and get another one out?
Oh God. Try. I don't think I will, but I'm a little bit scared of Monza. I actually don't think I've ever raced Monza in this league. I think I've conveniently ended up on holiday each time, but I think I am here for this one. So qualifying is going to be the big thing at Monza. I think there's going to be toes being given. There's going to be track limits is a big thing I think at Monza too. So I don't know. We'll see. I'm not even expecting to make Q3, but if I do, that'll be a bonus, and we'll just try and score some more points.
We'll see how things go for you next week. Obviously, good job on the finish in the end.
Thank you.
Obviously, the big relief there for that podium finish. And we'll come now, if you may unmute, for our race winner, Ethan Quigley. Ethan,
hello.
Welcome in. You are the first reserve in the RDL to win on debut in 5 seasons, mate. Congratulations.
Thank you. Yeah, it feels pretty nice. A good race. Tough with that guy behind me. I can't remember his name. Pass. Who was it again?
That'll be Grumio, 10-time series champion, and you've just trounced him over 36 laps.
Yeah, I think he was on the wrong strategy today, but we both did a good job. I think we pushed each other a bit far. I didn't have ultimately the most practice for this race because I didn't know I was reserving. So it'll be fun in the future if I do get the race again to see any more close battles we get. But it was a good race. Pushed me very far today, so I hope I pushed him too.
Talk to me about that race start, because you guys were side by side for about a good 3/4 of that first lap. So I mean, how tense was that to begin with?
I mean, it was tense, but you have to get your elbows out. It's these situations you need to make yourself. You need to let everybody know who you are, kind of thing, around you. If you're not aware of the people on the grid, you got to make the first impression. So I did that. It was good, I guess. It didn't really crash. Had a small bit of wheel banging in turn 1, but that's expected, of course. He seems to have a similar driving style to me, like pretty aggressive, which I've seen throughout the race. So, I mean, it was clean. We didn't crash, take any damage. So it was a good race. Wasn't bad.
Very enjoyable to watch on our end. I haven't got much more. I mean, only question being, will we see you again in the future, do you think?
It's not up to me, but I would like to, yeah.
Well, I'm glad we've made a good first impression for you. Yeah, brilliant race, has to be said. And yeah, perhaps we shall see you at some point later on in the season. We'll come now to Curtis Shepherd, who comes through to claim 3rd on the road, but 2nd place in the points once reserves, obviously counts out per RDL rules. Curtis, congratulations, mate. That was a race and a half. Well done.
Yeah, thank you. It was it's probably I haven't had many podiums, but it's definitely the most boring. Usually it's some kind of penalty that gets me in. But no, just outright on pace, which is a very nice surprise. We managed to grab a podium.
I mean, obviously the race was quite competitive, especially amongst the sort of cars you ran in the first part of the Grand Prix. Was there anyone you enjoyed fighting, particularly in the early stages?
To be honest, everyone that I was fighting either went off or just went straight past me. I was trying my best just to not lose too much time to the people it's not worth me fighting. Had a good fight with AT coming through the field. Obviously, I think he was on the one stop. Got a bit close, similar to last week, but nothing wrong with anything that happened. So, like I said, quite a dull, good, quick race.
I mean, good points for the team, for Red Bull as a whole. That'll move you guys closer to Sauber. You're 18 points back coming into this one, and based on my maths, you will be, I believe that will be just 8 points behind going into the next race if things stay as they are through Stuart support. So you and TJ feel like you can take P4 in the constructors?
Well, I think the last time I was doing a post-race interview was Belgium, and you mentioned, looking ahead and not looking behind. And I think it's happened a lot quicker than anyone expected. I said that we weren't looking at it, and we're still not looking at it. One race at a time. TJ got a podium last week, got a podium this week. I mean, I would like it to become a normal thing for Red Bull, but just get your head down and drive fast.
Well, in terms of driving fast, that's the name of the game for Monza next week, Temple of Speed, as it is more commonly known. Is there a chance for some more good points for Red Bull on the table there?
I mean, I think we are very consistent, the two of us. I know TJ had quite a difficult time today, but yeah, just stay out of trouble and hope for the best around Monza. It's not it's a very, very simple circuit, but it's a tough one because of the low downforce. So just keep it on the track, stay away from everyone in turn one, and just do your own race, hopefully.
Not a ton that's simple about league racing as a whole, but yeah, Monza definitely one of those circuits where the racing can be a bit more exciting. But obviously, fair enough. Good stuff for me today, and please get you up on that podium. Good to see more podium finishes over the course of the season, so good to see that. We'll come down to HP Cook. HP Cook comes home in P7 on the road. Yeah, I mean,
hello.
You were sort of there and abouts in the mid pack. Of course, that fight late on in the Grand Prix, you were sort of there with AT, Websy, Dan. What was that like? Because that was a tough scrap.
Let's just say I think I'll play in Dodgems more than F1. I believe it was DJ and Dan or somebody else had a bit of contact, and pretty much I got sent into Narnia, but squeeze through like driven, but we'll take it. Points, end of the day, it's what we needed. Obviously, Emery not being here, and obviously I'm in reserve, so from where I started, I think P11, it's a good job. We managed to move forward.
Obviously, you and Websy were tied points-wise going into this race, both on 24 each. Websy moves 2 clear of you. So would Websy sort of be your main competition going to next week at Monza?
I don't have any specific competition in standings. Main thing for me is obviously who I'm battling on the day, where the pace is, and in the standings, it's just you look at it end of the season, see where you are. In my eyes, if you look at it and get 2 points on somebody else, you might miss up in another race. But the only other time I have to think that you actually focus on standings is when you're at top. But other than that, when you're in mid-pack, it's just take it race by race.
So with that in mind, then, I'm guessing for you and Imri as a combo, there's not much concern about Red Bull closing up behind, is there?
No. We obviously take each race at a time. Obviously, Red Bull's had 2 good results over the last 2 weeks, and also we messed up a few. But no, we're confident in his own ability. We think there's some tracks that we prefer coming up. Obviously, Netherlands Stand Prize was a race that I actually enjoy. So we just got to take it one race at a time, and if we get to end the season, there's a battle on. We just got to see what it's like.
Very easygoing mindset to go into the second half of the campaign, which I think is definitely a good way to go about it. Obviously, fair play on the points today on a day where obviously you were the lone point scorer for Sauber, so you obviously did the job that was asked of you. So well done on that front. And we'll come now last of all to JB Racer 1, who comes home just outside of the points, but no crutches necessary. JB, despite the injury, managing to finish the Grand Prix. So congratulations to him there. JB, talk me through that. How was that?
Yeah, I'm happy because I finished P11. I actually do get a point. So pretty pleased with that because it's been a while since scored any. No mistakes, no spins, no penalties today. Just a really clean race for what I could do. Probably couldn't have done much more. I did get undercut by both Alpines right at the end in the final stops, which was a bit frustrating. But to be honest, I'm just happy to get home in the points.
I mean, both Ben and myself were quite concerned in terms of qualifying. Obviously, the race, you think you're a lot more trim in terms of mistakes, but qualifying was a concern for us. Was there anything different on your end in terms of how things went?
I just messed up my final run. Probably would have been a couple places higher, but it wasn't enough to get into Q3. To be honest, I was happy not to get knocked out in Q1 because it's happened a few times this season. So to be honest, it was a pretty average qualifying, but yeah, just messed up the final Q2 run.
Obviously, big points on the table for VCARD today. As 10th came home, or obviously once the reserves got the way, it is 3rd place for her. So is that pleased for your teammate there to see her get up on the podium?
Yeah, really great. Happy to get 2 new podium sitters, and obviously one's my teammate, so that's really good. And well done, obviously, to the other Ethan on his win. I think, yeah, Gremio was definitely on the wrong strategy today. Don't know what the result would have been if he wasn't. But yeah, really great to see a new winner. Gremio will obviously still nick the 25 points. But other than that, yeah, a good result and a good result for the team. Unfortunately, we are a bit behind Red Bull now, so I think we're just going to try and hold on to P6. But yeah, no, a good day for both of us to get in the points.
And in terms of Monza next week, is that a track we're looking ahead to for the time being, or are we just focusing on getting the shoulder set for now?
Luckily, it wasn't an issue today, and I'm sure it'll be back to normal for next week. But Monza's never been a good track for me. It's the high downforce track, so I did a bit better. P11 last week, P10 this week. I expect to be a bit further back again, but we'll have to see. Anything can happen. There weren't any safety cars today, but a race with a safety car or a red flag next week could easily put us into the points again. So yeah, we'll see what happens.
And you can all see what happens next week here in the same time, same place on the Zach RC channel. The Italian Grand Prix will be taking place here on the Monday, 9th of March. Same time, same place, as I say. Should be a fantastic race. Ben, anything from you before we sign off, mate?
No, other than thanks for having me in commentary box. Congrats to Ethan once again, and look forward to the next one.
Should be a very exciting race. That'll do us then in terms of coverage of tonight's event. Hope you guys did enjoy it. If you did, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more future audio content. Have an absolutely fantastic week, and we'll see you back here next week for another epic installment of this Racers Driving League season. Goodbye.